Hey beautiful Libra soul, let me be clear from the very first second. A massive money flow is heading your way between December 6th and 8th. This isn't guesswork. This is a divine alignment written into your stars, a moment where your past seeds of faith and patience begin to bear fruit in visible, tangible, financial ways. You didn't land on this video by accident. Something deeper called you here, a soft nudge in your spirit, a repeating number, a gut feeling that something is about to shift. That inner knowing? You were right to trust it. What you're stepping into isn't just another horoscope. It's a portal. A window. A rare energetic opening where the universe, your God, your guides, your higher self is reaching toward you with abundance that has been stored, waiting patiently for you to be ready. And now, you are. Think about it. Have you felt an unusual quiet lately? A strange stillness? Has life been preparing you, almost silently, to make space for something bigger? For some of you, this may come in the form of a surprise payment. For others, an opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere. But energetically, it is all the same. It's heaven's repayment for all the times you kept going when no one was watching. This message is not about hustle. It's about permission. It's about stepping into divine timing and finally allowing the support that has always been yours to flow toward you without fear, guilt, or resistance. Now, let me ask you something. What if money is not something you have to chase, but something that has been trying to find you all along? Libra, this is your invitation to open up and receive. To let go of the survival mindset. To soften the tension in your body. To remember that you were never created to live in constant lack, you were created to reflect divine beauty, balance, and abundance. If you've been praying quietly for a breakthrough, this video is your confirmation. So before we go any further, I want to invite you to comment below with the words, "I am ready to receive the abundance meant for me," or simply type 888, the sacred number of infinite flow and divine compensation. Your comment is not just a ritual. It's an anchor. A signal. A sacred handshake between your intention and the energy waiting to respond. And while I have your heart open, let me take a sacred pause and say thank you. Thank you for showing up. For giving your energy to this space. Every like, every share, every subscription brings you closer to this growing soul family at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your presence here means more than you know. And believe me, dear Libra, you're going to want to stay with me until the very last moment of this reading, because what the universe is about to reveal will not only activate your financial breakthrough, but it may shift how you view your entire relationship with receiving. Now breathe with me. Settle in. And let's step into what's already yours. There's a rhythm in the cosmos that doesn't just measure time, it mirrors the seasons of our soul. And right now, Libra, your stars are aligning in a pattern that whispers one simple truth: your worth is waking up. Not because it was ever asleep, but because you're finally ready to see it through a clearer lens. This chapter of your astrological story begins with your ruling planet, Venus, gracefully entering your second house, the house of value, self-worth, personal income, and material grounding. And that's no small placement. When Venus enters this part of your chart, it's not simply a financial forecast, it's an invitation to realign your perception of what you truly deserve. You are being asked to stop undervaluing your gifts and to begin treating yourself, your time, and your energy as sacred currency. Think of this as the universe gently turning your face toward a mirror and asking, "Do you see what I see in you?" Venus doesn't demand, she reminds. She doesn't pressure, she magnetizes. And that's exactly what's happening now. Your energy is shifting to attract the resources, recognition, and restoration that were always meant for you. Meanwhile, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, wisdom, and generosity, is forming a harmonious trine with this Venus placement. Now, trines don't shake the earth like oppositions or squares. They're subtle, like sunlight warming the soil where new seeds were once buried. This aspect doesn't bring money in a lottery ticket sense. Instead, it illuminates long-forgotten potential skills you've set aside, ideas you didn't have time to nurture, or a contact you met months ago but never followed up with. In other words, Jupiter doesn't change your life overnight. It widens your view so you can finally see what was already there, waiting for you to claim it. And then comes Mercury in retrograde, moving through your fourth house, your roots, your foundation, your personal and ancestral home. At first glance, Mercury retrograde may feel like friction. Old paperwork resurfaces, misunderstandings with family arise, or real estate plans get stalled. But scratch beneath the surface, and this is where the sacred unraveling begins. You may find that a financial blessing tied to your lineagean inheritance, a release from debt, or simply a family-held belief around lackeys coming up for review. What feels like disruption is often divine timing in disguise. Sometimes, a door swings open only after we circle back and knock again with a new understanding. In the background of all this cosmic choreography, the sacred numbers 6 and 8 hum like a subtle drumbeat. 6 represents harmony and responsibility, while 8 reflects abundance, power, and karmic return. Together, they remind you that prosperity isn't just about money, it's about balance. It's about creating a life where your external gains reflect your internal growth. These numbers don't just appear in spreadsheets or clocks. They show up in our awareness when the soul is ready to reorganize how it relates to time, energy, and provision. When you see them, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what am I really allowing myself to receive? And if it all feels overwhelming, this shift in value, this awakening of worth, then consider this. Sometimes, the most powerful miracles are the ones that arrive softly, in ordinary moments. The call back from a place you thought had forgotten you. The apology you never asked for but always needed. The clarity that comes not as thunder, but as a quiet realization while folding laundry or sipping your morning coffee. God doesn't always show up in a flash of light. Sometimes, divine provision is a gentle rearranging of the pieces of your life so that you can finally see how they fit. You're not just being blessed, Libra. You're being aligned. With your worth. With your foundation. With opportunities that were always yours, now being reintroduced under new light. Trust that. And most of all, trust yourself. Sometimes, the most powerful transformations begin not with loud breakthroughs, but with soft invitations. As we move deeper into this cosmic window, Libra, the cards drawn for you this week speak not just of change but of embodiment. They remind you that abundance isn't just about what's coming into your life, but about who you're becoming as you allow yourself to receive it. Each of the 3 cards, the Empress, the 6 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles, offers a layer of wisdom, a layer of emotional guidance, and most importantly, a spiritual posture to take in this rare moment of energetic opening. The Empress arrives first, and she does not knock loudly. She simply appears, radiant and grounded, like the rising sun. Her presence in your reading is not just a symbol of luxury or material wealth, it is a calling to soften. This card is a divine mirror asking you, can you allow things to flow to you without chasing? Can you trust that life can be fruitful without forcing it? In modern life, we're so conditioned to associate productivity with power, that we often forget the power of receptivity. The Empress tells you that now is not the time to hustle harder, it is the time to open your arms, breathe deeply, and make space for what is already on its way. Then comes the Six of Pentacles, reminding you that money is energy, it is not meant to be gripped tightly, but to circulate. This card is about flow. Not just financial, but energetic, emotional, and spiritual. You are not simply receiving a blessing for yourself, you are being positioned as a vessel through which blessings move. You may find yourself called to give this week not out of obligation, but from a place of overflow. Whether it's a word of encouragement, an act of service, or a small financial offering to someone in need, this card encourages you to participate in the cycle of giving and receiving. And when you do, abundance multiplies not because of superstition, but because generosity expands our capacity to hold more. And finally, the Ace of Pentacles, a beginning that isn't loud or dramatic, but deeply grounded. This card speaks to a seed. A financial opportunity, yes, but one that requires nurturing. What is being offered to you now is not a shortcut, but a foundation. Perhaps it's an idea that's been lingering. A job offer. A client. A side project. Maybe even just a shift in how you think about money. Whatever it is, you are being asked to treat it with care. Not fear. Not urgency. But reverence. Because this is how real wealth grows, not overnight, but through daily alignment. If you're wondering how to hold space for this energy, start simple. Take a few minutes each morning during this sacred window, December 6th to 8th, and sit in quiet stillness. Close your eyes, and visualize a deep emerald light pouring in through the crown of your head, pooling at your heart. See it as a warm current, filling you until it overflows. This isn't just imagination, it's energetic alignment. The body responds to belief. The nervous system responds to safety. And when you allow yourself to feel abundance before you see it, you prepare your life to hold it when it arrives. You don't need to be perfect to begin. You don't need to have a 5-year plan or flawless credit or a spotless past. You simply need to show up as you are, available, willing, and open. This isn't about achieving, it's about allowing. And I want to remind you that it is okay to not have all the answers. It is okay if you still feel hesitant. Abundance doesn't require perfection, it requires presence. In moments like this, when you're not sure what to do next, I often tell people to begin with a simple act of trust. Write a note to yourself. Light a candle. Speak a phrase out loud. Even just a whisper of, "I am ready," is enough to begin shifting energy. Because what you're really doing is giving yourself permission. Permission to receive. Permission to expand. Permission to believe that maybe, just maybe, what you've prayed for is already on its way. And if your life feels busy, noisy, too full for spiritual practice, let that not be a barrier. Let your breath be the prayer. Let the moment you look at the sky or sip your coffee become a sacred pause. These small sacred moments are where faith is sown in real life. You don't need to escape the world to experience a miracle. Often, miracles are not loud events, they are subtle rearrangements. A door you thought was closed reopens. A bill is covered. A message arrives at just the right time. That, too, is divine timing at work. And right now, it's working in your favor. Keep breathing, keep softening. What's coming next will need both your hands open and ready to hold. There are times in life when we don't need more effort, we simply need a different lens. Libra, as you move deeper into this energetic portal between December 6th and 8th, you're being asked to challenge something subtle but powerful, the idea that just enough is all you're allowed to receive. It's a belief many of us inherited quietly through culture, family, or the emotional survival patterns we learned early on. It's the thought that being content means not desiring more. That financial overflow is somehow selfish, or that asking for abundance makes you greedy, ungrateful, or too much. But where did that come from, really? Who told you that being rich in spirit, in finances, or in peace would distance you from the people you love or from your own values? The truth is, many of the beliefs we carry about money have nothing to do with money itself. They're stories we've absorbed about worthiness, safety, and permission. And in this phase of your astrological unfolding, those stories are ready to be rewritten. You may catch yourself thinking, if I become more successful, they'll think I've changed. Or, I'm not ready to handle more, I can barely manage what I have. Or even, if I receive too much, something bad will happen to take it away. These aren't logical thoughts, they're emotional anchors. They don't come from your soul, they come from survival. But the season you are in now is not about survival. It's about expansion. And expansion requires one brave, healing decision, to stop giving your past the final word over your future. Think of it like this: your belief system is like the soil you plant your intentions into. If the soil is dry and hard, even the best seeds will struggle to grow. But when you nourish that soil, when you soften it with new beliefs, when you water it with trust, when you let in the sunlight of possibility, what was once dormant begins to bloom. That's why I want you to begin gently unearthing the roots of what you believe about abundance. Not to shame yourself, but to free yourself. Take a piece of paper and write down one belief about money that has held you back. Maybe it's, people like me never get ahead. Maybe it's, I don't deserve more than others. Whatever it is, let it come to the surface. And then, directly below that belief, write its healed version. For example, I am allowed to receive in full measure and still be kind, grounded, and generous. Or, my success is safe. I don't have to give it away to prove I'm good. This isn't just a journaling exercise. It's a shift in spiritual chemistry. It's a form of energetic repentance, not because you were wrong, but because you're ready to come home to the truth. You're not bad for wanting more peace, more joy, more resources. You're not selfish for praying for overflow. In fact, your desires may be the very clues pointing to your divine assignment. Because when good-hearted people have more, they do more good. And remember, healing these beliefs doesn't mean you'll never feel fear again. It just means that fear no longer gets to sit at the head of the table. It means you're no longer organizing your entire life around what might go wrong. You're beginning to trust what could go right. And in this posture of quiet trust, space opens up for divine alignment, not as a reward for perfection, but as a response to willingness. Some of the most beautiful breakthroughs don't happen because we earn them, but because we finally believe they're allowed. The door was always there, it simply hadn't knocked. And now you are. With every new thought, with every gentle breath of belief, with every time you say, I am open, something shifts. And no shift is too small to matter. So if your logical mind is still resisting, that's okay. That's part of healing too. You don't need to feel 100% ready, you just need to feel willing. Willing to loosen your grip on just enough so that more than enough has a place to land. Willing to rewrite a story where abundance and peace are not on opposite sides, but part of the same sacred promise. Because here's the quiet truth no one teaches us: abundance doesn't come to prove you're valuable. It comes because you already are. Let that settle. Let it challenge something deep inside you. Let it soften the fear, even just a little. And if you need a place to begin, start with this small affirmation whispered under your breath: I am no longer available for lack. I am ready to live in alignment with lasting abundance. That's enough. That's a beginning. And beginnings are holy ground. Not everything that arrives in your life is meant to stay, and that's especially true with money. Libra, as this new financial energy flows in, your next step isn't to chase it or control it, but to learn how to hold it with clarity and calm. There's a reason you've been brought to this moment. The doors are open. The energy is moving. But as I've said many times before, abundance doesn't respond to force. It responds to rhythm, to intention, to stewardship. When we talk about allowing money to stay, we're really talking about building a relationship with it. Just like any other relationship, it needs boundaries, trust, purpose, and care. And while the universe may send you unexpected blessings, what you do with them next becomes a reflection of your deeper beliefs and your readiness for more. That's why now is the time to gently, deliberately align your actions with the frequency of what you want to sustain. One of the easiest ways to begin is with a small shift: open a new savings account, not just for emergencies, but as a sacred space for overflow. Give it a name if you want. Call it Future Me, or Seed Fund, or even Divine Provision. You're not doing this because you're afraid of lack, but because you're making space for what you expect. And space is a signal. It tells the universe, I'm not just hoping for more, I'm ready to manage it wisely. Then look at your month ahead. What does your December really need? Not from a place of fear or guilt, but from clarity. What can be released? What can be invested? What choices are truly nourishing you and which are still tied to old patterns of self-neglect or emotional spending? It's not about restriction, it's about realignment. When your money is directed by your values, it gains weight. It anchors deeper. And it becomes easier to trust that it will return again. Another beautiful practice I often share with my clients, and one I use myself, is the 10% principle. When you receive money, however big or small, consider setting aside 10% not as a rule, but as a ritual. That portion can go into savings, be invested in growth, used to bless someone else, or even just held as a sacred reserve. What matters isn't the number, it's the intention. That act says, I'm not spending from urgency. I'm planting from trust. And trust is the soil where sustainable wealth takes root. Of course, not every moment will feel abundant. You may still find yourself tempted to fall back into old ways, spending to soothe, buying to belong, rushing to reward yourself because you've waited so long to feel good. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel free. But when your actions are driven by a fear of losing the moment, rather than the wisdom of building a life, you end up back in survival mode. So pause. Take a breath before the purchase. Ask yourself, am I honoring my future, or trying to fix my past? Is this choice rooted in peace, or is it a bandage for pain I haven't spoken out loud? You don't need to deprive yourself. But you do need to choose from the version of you who knows where she's going, not from the part of you still trying to prove something. Sometimes, a small decision becomes the turning point in your entire money story. A journal entry that brings awareness. A spreadsheet that reveals hidden blessings. A coffee you skip today so you can send a message to your future self, I'm choosing the long game. And if you're looking for a quiet place to begin, here's a suggestion I give to those who feel disconnected from their financial power. Each morning this week, take one moment to pray, not just for provision, but for wisdom. Something as simple as, today I plant a seed of trust. I open my hands and heart to receive and protect the blessings meant for me. It doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to feel wildly abundant or endlessly optimistic. You just need to show up intentionally, softly, and with a heart willing to do things differently. Because Libra, wealth is not just a number in your account. It's the structure you build to hold the energy you once thought you weren't allowed to have. And now that it's arriving, your task isn't to perform for it, but to become the version of yourself who can keep it, grow it, and share it without fear. Let this be your quiet revolution. Let this be the week you stop proving, and start protecting. You've waited long enough. Colors have a way of speaking to us beyond words. They remind us, even in silence, of the energy we're meant to carry and receive. For you, Libra, the emerald green light that surrounds this moment is no coincidence. It's the color of growth, of healing, of wealth, not just in the material sense, but in the emotional and energetic sense too. This green isn't flashy, it's deep, stable, and alive. It invites you to root down while still reaching toward the light. And from December 6th to 8th, you're being asked to align with this vibration, not just by thinking or hoping, but by wearing it, embodying it, and letting it settle into your everyday awareness. Something powerful happens when we give form to energy. That's why sacred symbols and rituals hold so much resonance across traditions and across time. They become touch points, reminders, anchors for what we can't always see but deeply feel. For you, Libra, whose ruling planet is Venus and whose element is air, grounding your intentions through visual and physical cues is especially important. You're not here to chase the energy, you're here to balance it, to carry it, to become a vessel of harmony, even when the world feels loud or uncertain. So let's begin with what you can see and touch. Wearing or surrounding yourself with emerald green during this window is not superstition, it's resonance. It's allowing your body and your environment to vibrate in sync with what you're calling in. Whether it's a scarf, a journal, a piece of jewelry, or even a post-it note on your mirror, let it remind you that abundance is not an abstract wish, it's something you are creating space for now. Next, consider the power of symbols. A golden scale, representing your own Libra essence, serves as a visual reminder that prosperity and peace are not meant to live on opposite ends of the spectrum. True abundance is balanced. It's measured, not by how much you have, but by how well it supports your well-being. Place this symbol somewhere meaningful in your desk, near your altar, or simply in a space where you can see it as you make daily choices. Green quartz or aventurine, crystals known to carry the energy of wealth, clarity, and emotional healing, are wonderful companions during this time. Carry one in your pocket. Hold it during your morning breath work. Let its frequency match the one you're choosing to emit, calm confidence and open-handed readiness. The crane, a less conventional symbol but one rich in grace and trust, offers a deeper invitation. Known for its elegance and endurance, the crane reminds us to move with gentleness, not force. To rise above chaos while still remaining rooted. If this image speaks to you, let it become a symbol of your quiet strength, your ability to hold space for wealth and wisdom at once. To bring it all together, light a green candle each morning from December 6th to 8th. You don't need a long ceremony. Just light, breathe, and say softly, "I allow money to take root in my life." Repeat it as often as you need, not because repetition is magic, but because your nervous system learns through rhythm. When your body begins to believe that it's safe to receive and safe to keep, everything around you starts to shift in response. This kind of ritual doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be honest. In the midst of your everyday life, you can create small moments of alignment. And it's in those small moments that trust builds. That's what prepares you for the breakthrough, not external events, but internal expansion. So whether you're lighting a candle, touching your crystal, or simply taking a breath while wearing your green sweater, know that you're not waiting anymore. You're already participating in the life you asked for. The spiritual principle behind all of this is simple: intention plus action equals activation. You're not here to hope passively. You're here to shape reality through energetic coherence. The colors, the objects, the practices, these are your tools. But you, Libra, are the conductor. And if it ever feels too quiet, if doubt begins to rise again, just remember this: you don't need to feel ready to begin. You only need to begin. You've planted the seed, now it's time to nurture it. Day by day. Breath by breath. Let the green remind you, growth is already underway. If there's one thing I hope you take from this message, dear Libra, it's this: you don't need to do more to be worthy of more. You simply need to allow more. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs don't come from effort, they come from permission. The permission to expand. The permission to let go. The permission to say yes to a version of your life that is fuller, softer, and more supported than anything you've known before. You are not here to chase abundance, you are here to embody it. It has never been about proving your worth to anyone or working yourself to exhaustion to be deserving. The universe has already chosen you for this moment. The only question now is, will you let it in? So take a breath. Feel that. The green current of prosperity we've spoken about is not far away. It is around you now. It is responding to every small shift in your energy, your awareness, your belief. And more importantly, it is responding to your choice. Will you choose to keep living in the same limitations passed down to you, or will you choose to be the one who breaks the cycle for yourself, for your family, and for the version of you that has been waiting patiently in the background? Because this isn't just about money. It's about reclaiming your right to thrive. To rest without guilt. To receive without apology. To trust that what flows to you isn't just luck, it's divine reciprocity. It's the harvest of every time you said yes to growth, even when it was hard. It's the return of every seed you planted when no one was looking. And now, with everything we've explored from the stars above to the symbols in your space, from the tarot's quiet truths to your own shifting beliefs, the time has come to ground this energy into action. But not with pressure. With presence. Let me ask you, what is one belief you're ready to lay down today? What is one decision you're willing to make that aligns with the life you say you want? And who could be impacted if you gave yourself full permission to receive not just money, but joy, ease, and support? You don't need to answer perfectly. You just need to answer honestly. And to help you claim this moment, I invite you to speak your intention out loud. Anchor it in the comments with one of the following: I choose to step into my abundant energy. Or simply, 888, I open my heart and I'm ready to receive divine compensation. This isn't just a comment. It's a contract. A sacred note to your future self, a signal to the universe that you are not just inspired, you are aligned. And if this message touched you, if you felt seen, held, or stirred in any way, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you love. You never know whose life might change because you followed that nudge. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, because this is just the beginning. There are bigger messages waiting for you, ones that will call you even deeper into your purpose, your peace, and your provision. Remember, Libra, you are not waiting for the light. You are the light. You are not hoping for a miracle. You are building the space where miracles feel safe enough to land. This is your time. This is your portal. And you are more ready than you think.